is Chicago. Chicago is a very metropolitan city. It's a very friendly city. It's not scary like people think it is. People are not getting shot everywhere. Well, nobody's getting shot, really. Only if you go to certain areas. Go ahead. My assistant is fired. Yes. Thank you. That's okay. What happened? You got too excited, babe. Just do the next one. No, go to the thing. Anyway, if you haven't been to Chicago, I would recommend you come only in the summer. It's cold like here, but it's windy. Nasty. So yeah, okay, so this is our family. I'm gonna introduce you to my kids. This is our son, Joshua. He lives in The Hague, in Holland. He's a, oh my God, I just forgot what my kid does. Thank you. He's an international lawyer. He works for the United Nations, and he's also going to school. The middle one is our daughter, and that's her future husband. And that's Rebecca. She lives in Boston. The middle one lives in California, and the little one lives in Boston. Anybody is a baseball fan? No baseball fan? Well, she works for the Red Sox, the Boston Red Sox. They just won. So she's so excited because they get rings and everything. Okay, so next one. My best friend and my assistant. Okay, next, let's keep going. Go back to the beginning, sweetie. Okay, now, how many of you guys work with teens? Teacher, servants? Okay, so you work with teens. Anybody else work with teens? How old, what is the average age here? 15? 16? 17? And how old are you, Mr. I Don't Like Chicago? 14? I think you could have put your hand up a lot earlier. Okay. All right. So I work with some teens. I'm a psychologist. I didn't even introduce myself. And I work a lot with couples, and I work a lot with trauma. And I work, well, with trauma because I also worked with girls who were sex trafficked. Okay, you know what that is? Okay. Girls who were sex trafficked, and I also worked in several high schools. So I hear a lot what kids say, not the ones that are in trauma, but normal teens.
I'm doing that. Just go ahead.
I need my slides. So fired. Not coming back to Chicago with me. Okay, so here's a lot of things I hear from the average student or average teen, especially in communities like our church. My parents don't understand me. They don't understand the pressure I have at school. My friends understand me more than my parents. I need to experiment so I can know what is right or wrong. My parents want me to just obey them. They are not willing to listen. How many of us has heard that or thought that? Yeah. If you don't put your hands up, I know all parents, right? All kids are like, seriously, give me some room to breathe. So, okay, next one. I'm not here to lecture you at all. I'm not. I'm not here to preach a session to you. I'm not here to guilt you or to try to change you. This is not the reason this talk is here, okay? What this talk is all about is I want to educate you on what's going on. I want to help you get the tools that you need for certain situations, how to talk to your parents, and answer any questions that you may have. Make sense? We're cool? All right. Everybody's nodding. I will pick on you if you do not know. Okay, here are some of the topics we are going to cover. Drugs and alcohol, bullying or being bullied, sexting and pornography, peer pressure, and dating. Most topics we all deal with, we all cover, right? And I'll give you guys an opportunity. I'm never able, this is just a slides, so if you want to ask a question at any time, please do. I have no problems answering any questions. All right, let's get started. How many of you guys have ever heard the word pruning? What is it? Have you ever had a dead tree in your house, or a tree limb that somebody has to cut? A tree. When there's a branch that's dead, you cut it, right? You have a beautiful plant, you start cutting the dead ones, and you get a plant, right? That's pruning. Guess what? Until you're the age of 25, that's what your brain is doing. Everybody from the age of 13 or 14, more than that, 16, from 16 to 25, there's a lot of pruning happening in your brain. There's a lot of changes, there's a lot of wiring, there's a lot of different things going on. It gets rid of the stuff we no longer need. We don't need to drink from a baby bottle, right? Have you ever tried drinking from a baby bottle at this age? Hardest thing in the world. You can't suck and swallow at the same time. It's like, and then you try to swallow it. We just don't use it. Crawling, putting everything in your mouth. Those are things that we do sensory, we no longer do. So our brain starts to prune it. It gets rid of it, but it takes on more strength in other things that we need. Like here, when you drink or use drugs, several changes are taking place in your brain. When you're drinking, what do you feel? No one's going to answer me because we've never drank, right? Okay, I'll answer the question for you. When you have some wine or some alcohol or whatever, hopefully nobody is like busy with that, it alters your brain. People feel high when you're smoking marijuana, right? Your drugs, they kind of make you not quite think clearly. Alcohol, you're not really there because it's doing some chemicals to your brain. So could you imagine when your brain is at a very sensitive place and you're putting that in? What's happening to it? So it is under each and every one of you how many of you are over 25? You're done. You're done. Your brain is done. Everyone else in this room, your brain is pruning, whether you like it or not. That's just the way God made us. Yeah, but you're also over 25. So during those years, your brain begins to prune. It gets rid of things that we no longer use. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit of technical for you guys, and I'm hoping that I could give you the words if you want to look them up. Synapses become more efficient and increase and take shape. So things that we use every day, right, like things we use in school, our communication, we'd be able to kind of handle ourselves in social situations, those are getting stronger. Sitting on the floor and crying when you're having a temper tantrum when you're 2, hopefully nobody does that, okay? When pruning is occurring, your brain is very, very fragile and very sensitive. Now, because it's sensitive, you add a chemical to it, what do you think is happening? Oh, I could stand here quietly for a while. Damage? Right. You're creating damage to what's being developed. Instead of it being developed, I'm going to show you a video. Instead of it developing straight, what ends up happening when we alter with drugs and alcohol, it kind of swerves. It doesn't go straight the way we want it to. Okay? So these are called synapses. Anybody know what these are? Yeah, right? That's how our brain communicates to each other. See those big round ones? And they got the tentacles, right? The ones that are not going anywhere are the ones that are being pruned. They're not being used anymore. The connections, as we make connections, they get stronger. Now, alcohol and drugs lay them down when they're supposed to be connections. And that's where the damage occurs. Okay, so there was a study done, a research study that wanted to see the effects of between adolescents who smoke marijuana and alcohol, performance and cognitive, the way you think, behavioral, like your attention, decision making, and impulsivity, compare them to kids who did not do alcohol or drugs. So they asked them to do this research. They took kids between the age of 14 to 17. Okay? They looked at their performance when using marijuana and alcohol, and they wanted to measure exactly what the two people are doing. Oh. Okay. I know, I'm not using the microphone right. Because I... You're really going to hear me now. Both? Both ears? One ear. Did they use one ear? What is that?
I'm trying to have the mouse recognize this now.
Under my hair. Under your hair. This looks alien. This looks weird. Oh, is that what it is? Can you hear me? Oh, light changing. Okay, I'll put it in my pocket. Thank you. Okay, so I don't think it's gonna be okay. Okay, so this is what they found. They found that in short-term memory usually holds information anywhere between 7 to 10 words. That's all. You remember it long enough, like a phone number. Once the phone number is done, you're done, right? But if you practice it, it goes into long-term memory. So they've looked at short-term memory. This is not really working out here. Short-term memory, impulsivity. Does everybody know what impulsivity is? Yes, I need everybody's heads. You're not shaking. Chicago hater, what do you think? Do you know what impulsivity is? Doing something without thinking. Time and response time. So when you're driving, why do they say don't drive and drink and drive? Your reflexes are right. So your response time. So if you see a car in front of you, stop. If you're not on drugs, you will stop. If you aren't on drugs or alcohol, it takes you a little longer. Boom. Okay? So they found that the ability to think, behave were slower. They lack impulse. The ability to think clearly were disabled for those who smoked marijuana or had drugs, alcohol. Now remember, if this is happening when your brain is developing, could you imagine what the damage it's doing? Okay, so this is, hopefully this works, Lord knows. Do you have the thing?
Adolescence is the transition from childhood to adulthood, encompassing a period of major physical, emotional, intellectual, and social change.
Your laptop's not recognizing the mouse.
Our brains also change considerably during this time. The developing brain is a learning machine, and from when we're born, it grows enormously as we learn more and more about the world. This means we end up with billions of connections in our brains, but many of these pathways are either too slow or not needed. It's during the teenage years that our brains are renovated, whereby most of these unnecessary connections are removed or pruned away. At the same time, the connections that are kept are insulated to allow for faster communication across the brain, a process called myelination. Pruning and myelination occur gradually over the teenage years and are greatly influenced by our experiences and interactions with the outside world, including the alcohol and drugs we choose to take. Let's take a closer look inside the brain. The frontal lobes take the longest to develop. By about 25, they've become the center for decision-making, helping you to plan and organize, focus your attention, control your mood or behavior, and solve day-to-day problems. The temporal lobes are like an information concentrate, make good decisions, and control your emotions and impulses. This means you might do things you otherwise wouldn't. In the hypothalamus, alcohol blocks the hormone that tells the kidneys to reabsorb water. This means more water is lost as waste. Reducing the amount of water available to the brain makes you dehydrated, which explains the headaches and body aches you may experience the next day, otherwise known as a hangover. Alcohol's effect on your cerebellum is evident when you lose your balance and fall over, or have difficulties with standing or walking. This is why injuries are so common when people are intoxicated. Drinking alcohol particularly affects a part of the temporal lobe called the hippocampus, which enables us to form new memories. Alcohol interferes with the transfer of information from short-term memory to long-term memory. So if you drink heavily over a short period, you may experience a blackout, meaning the next day you can't remember what you said or did. Drinking at a level that causes blackouts means you're also much more likely to do something you wouldn't usually do, and your friends may not be aware of how drunk you really are. During your teenage years, you need to look after your brain to keep it healthy just like other parts of your body. Our scientists are learning more about the brain all the time, and research has shown that the damage alcohol does to the developing brain is not only short-term, but may be permanent.
Okay. What do you think?
It's the only one.
What do you guys think? Eye-opening? Is it new information? Is it old information? So how come you guys didn't know what pruning was?
I'm wondering if it is doing the same thing on adult people.
Adults? You mean like dementia?
Yeah, on people over 25.
Well, alcohol has alcohol. It's going to have the same effect, and drugs are going to have the same effect as adults, right? But the difference is, because you're under 25, except for 2, right? Your brain, you're over 25 too? Okay, cool. Because your brain is developing, right? It's going to develop the wired. Okay, so we have 3, I'm assuming he's over 25. Are you over 25? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people over 25. Okay, so these 4 people, when they have a drink, an alcohol, wine, or whatever, hopefully staying away from the marijuana a little bit. So when they have their drink, their brain is already set. And that's why when it affects them, it's going to affect them, but the damage is not going to be, well, it depends on how much they drink, right? It's not going to affect them in the same way as someone whose brain is developing. It's like a little plant, okay? When your little plant is very, very weak, it's growing, you're not going to go give it poison. Why? Is your plant going to grow if we give it poison? What does your little plant need? Come on, people. Water, sun, fertilizer, right? To make it grow strong. Now, if you give it something different, if you put salt on it, your plant is not going to grow, right? That's what's happening in the teenage brain. It really, it's something you really need to pay attention to. Your brain is developing, it's not making it up. So take care of it. Drugs and alcohol are going to have an effect. I found one for marijuana and it did the same thing, so that's why I didn't do videos. Okay? So that's what's happening in your brain. If you don't take care of it, once you get to be 25, drinking is not that important anyway. You don't care about it. Any other questions? Come on, it's a good question. No. Go ahead. And it has to be here.
Hello. Hi. So what I was saying is that are you talking about taking drugs and alcohol like on a daily basis or monthly or whatever? Because I don't think that if you take it like once every 2 months or 3 months or whatever, it won't damage that much. Like the day after, you just become normal as you.
How do you know you're going to be normal? Where's your measure? No. See, that's the whole thing. You see, the reason they're saying stay away from it, right, is because you don't know what's developing, what stage it's in developing, right? If you drink a little bit too much, some people, they can't handle it. Some people can. Some people are going to have damage, some people are not. Are you willing to take a risk? Are you sure?
I don't think you will go to the hospital because you were drinking.
No, if you go to the hospital, you have bigger issues. No, you have alcohol poisoning. That's a completely different. This isn't for hospitals. This is development, right? Okay, so if you take I'm going to give you another example. If you take a child, right, and you don't allow them to walk for too long, right, when they're little, when they're learning to walk, when you take the strap off, how likely are they going to get up and run? It's going to be a struggle for them, right? Alcohol, when the wiring is happening, you don't give it the chance to grow the way it's supposed to. For some people, I don't know who, I wish I knew who, but for some people, it can't grow the way it's supposed to. So when drinking underage, that's why there's an age limit. When you're drinking underage, you don't know how your brain is going to deal with it. It may absorb the alcohol a lot faster, it may absorb the drugs a lot faster. So it may affect the part. For you, you don't know it. But for people around you, they may know it. Your responses might be not the same when you're supposed to be. If your response is supposed to be 0 to 100 really quick, you won't know that you're not going 0. In your head, you think you're going 0 to 100, but you may not be responding quickly.
But what my question was, if you take, are you talking about taking this like
daily
or whatever? Shamsik working. Oh, okay.
You get double ones. Daily?
Yeah, but
it doesn't
I don't
have
think
to
that
be daily. Again, if you're going to have something, you don't know what the age is or what the stage is. Later, Gator. You don't know what the stage is, and you don't know how much your brain is absorbing. That's why they say don't do it. Just don't do it. I know it's hard. Everybody else around you is doing it, right? But if you take care of it just a little bit longer, until you hit at age 25, you'll be okay. I know it's hard. Yeah, I know. I got it is hard. But I'm not here to lecture you. I'm not here to say bad. It's between you and yourselves and Abuna and anybody else that you're talking to, right? I'm just giving you what happens. You run down the street with no shoes on in the middle of winter, you're likely to get frostbite and die and get sick, and horrible messes will happen, right? It's a choice. Because research has done it. Neurologically, that's when this is the part they're talking about here. There's no exceptions. Your brain is.
25 exactly?
25 is usually the magic number, or some people it's a little longer.
Yeah, 26 or 27.
Some people.
Okay.
But that's the guaranteed everything is finished. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed everything is going to finish building. When they talk about, see, the thing is, when we are born, we start from the back, where we're able to see our world. So this here. And then we begin to hear our parents' voices, right? And then we get to see all of this area here starts. The last thing to develop is your executive function. Mm-hmm. That tells you logic what to do, how to do it.
But I once read an article, it said 22. So
no, there's new research. There's research all the time.
Okay.
The latest research is 25.
Okay.
And that's good. If you're reading articles on it, good for you. That's amazing. But keep up with researches. Okay, because they're noticing that it takes longer and longer. Is there an alcohol limit here for age in Canada? 18? Okay. In the US, it's 21, and they want to bring it up. Yeah, because there's a lot of not so bright people that are drinking alcohol. The what? You're special? Yeah, the drugs, yeah. Right, yeah, but the only difference is that the drugs became legal here, right? So again, temptation will be around you, friends will be pushing, and we're going to talk a little bit about peer pressure. That's what we're going to cover. Any other questions regarding the pruning and the brain development? Good questions, though.
sorry, there are different kinds like of, like for example, marijuana. Like there are different kinds of like molecules and stuff. Like there is THC and others. So I was wondering like it's bad in general, but like some people will argue that some certain like molecules, like certain part of marijuana are okay to consume. So I was wondering, like, what's your opinion on that?
If you're smoking marijuana and you're feeling high, it's affecting your brain. That's just basically it. If it's making you feel something that you normally would not feel when you're not smoking it, it's affecting your brain. See the wires that they were talking about in the video? You want them to go the way they're supposed to, that's the strength. Once you put in marijuana, it kind of goes, ugh. So it's not making the connection all the way. It's not hitting the next synapse, depending on the also amount that people smoke. People say, I smoked when I was 13. And I'm like, okay, and what are you doing with your life? Oh, I'm living in my parents' house. Oh, what do you do for a job? I deliver pizza. Anything else, I just can't focus.
I was wondering, like, also, what's your opinion on, like, predisposition? Like, some people are, like, predisposed to have, like, certain, like, they're going to be more, like,
susceptible
to, like, develop certain, like...
Okay, this is not my opinion. I want you guys to all understand this, right? This is, yeah. This is not my opinion. I'm just going by research. Okay. Everything I'm presenting to you guys is through research, right? Some people are more susceptible to it. Some people are not. Again, are you willing to play Russian roulette with yourself? Everybody know what Russian roulette is? Yes, no, no? Russian roulette is a game you play with a gun, okay? You put one bullet in the gun and you spin it. And then everybody takes the gun and puts it to their heads and shoots. You might get shot, you might not. It's a really ridiculous game. I don't know who came up with it, but that's just what they do. That's called Russian roulette. Are you willing to play that with drugs and alcohol and development of your brain? You're mature. All of you. I'm just giving you the facts. All right, next one. Bullying and being bullied. How many of you guys have seen people being bullied? Don't put your hands up. How many of you guys bullied? Give me the eyebrows. Okay, let's talk about it. Before you say something to someone, always think about how you would feel if someone told you the same thing. Be careful. Words are powerful. And they never just go and they don't come back. It always comes back. Karma, baby. All right. Now, no one on this God's green earth is immune to bullying. Who's that? Who? Nope. Nope. Go, babe. He was bullied badly in school. Badly in school. Next one. Anybody know who this is? Who? Rihanna? Rihanna? You just changed her name to an Arabic name? Okay. Could you imagine her being bullied? So all these people I'm going to show you were badly bullied in school. Anybody know who this is? She's in Harry Potter. No, she's not in Harry Potter. What is her name? I just had her name a second ago. Not Winona. Whatever. I think so. Well, yeah. Okay. Next one. Anybody know who this is? Y'all, because you're in Canada, you all know her. Who? Does that look like Celine Dion to you, dude? You're just like guessing names. Okay. She's your princess. Kate Middleton. Huh? You're Canada. You got that queen on your flag, your dollar bill. She's your princess. Okay, next. Anybody know her? Rihanna, no. Yes, Rihanna, yes. That's Rihanna. You wouldn't, when you see them, you wouldn't think they were bullied, right? Everybody is able to bully somebody. Everybody. And everybody is not immune to being bullied. All right. 4 types of bullying. You got physical, right? Walk up to somebody, push them, poke them, slap them, hit them in the back of the head, and they ask you not to do it, but you keep doing it because you think it's funny. That's bullying. Social happens more with girls and boys, young ladies, right? It's the gossip. Do you believe what she was wearing today? Girl, I can't believe that outfit. Why would she even wear that outfit? Or, better yet for girls, is the look, right? You walk down the street, you just give somebody a look like, oh, God. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Verbal. Talking to somebody, saying to somebody that something that hurts them, and you know it hurts them because they told you not to say it to them, but you say it anyway because it's funny. Cyber. You guys have some great laws here against that. Cyberbullying, you know what cyberbullying is? When we were younger, right, in school, we got bullied. I got bullied, you have got bullied, our kids got bullied. The difference between then and now is there's no stop. You get bullied 24/7, or you could bully 24/7. You got your phones, you got your computers. When we went home, it was that phone that you used to drag with the long, long cord, right? Nobody could call you. Nobody could text you. Today, bullying is happening so much more. That's why we have laws against it now. Okay. Cyberbullying. Man, those words hurt. Be careful. Karma sucks. Okay. Physical. Now, who's doing the bullying? Who's bullying? The superior one? Who's the superior one? The white kid. You call him, I was looking more along the kid with the red t-shirt. It's interesting how you called him the white kid. Okay, well, the white kid, I guess. Is he doing the bullying only? Huh? That kid with the camera is just as guilty. He can't say, I didn't do it. Just because he's standing there laughing, that's bullying. So if you see someone doing it and you're standing there going, oh man, that's really bad. That's a sad situation. You are just as guilty. Okay. This is what the girls, verbal, very good at it. Friends standing around is the emotional part. No one is protecting. No one is saying anything. Sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to say anything. They're going to turn on me. But if the two of you turn on a bully, they have no power. Okay? Now there's also abuse of power. Someone who's in higher position, telling you off, telling you how good you are and how not good you are. Right? Just because you did not physically touch them doesn't mean they are not in pain. Watch your words, guys. Okay? Now this is great. Socrates. We all know who Socrates is? Good. Socrates. Strong minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Weak minds discuss people. So let's pick which one we want to be. It is the law here, by the way. I looked it up. It's against the law here to cyberbully. You could be arrested. Did you know that? No, right? Yeah, it's illegal here. Under the Criminal Code of Canada, it is a crime to communicate repeatedly with someone if your communication causes them fear of their own safety and safety of others. They can press charges. You can have a criminal record. They don't care. You got a criminal record, you apply to a job, they will go through it, and you may not even get those jobs that you're looking for. Be careful. It is a crime to publish. Someone say something? No? Okay. Defamatory libel, lost talk, Writing something that is designed to insult a person or likely to injure a person's reputation by exposing him or her to hatred, contempt, and ridicule. Be careful. All they have to do is get a good, smart lawyer. You do not want a record. For my daughter, the one that is working for the Red Sox, they had to do a severe criminal background on her. And if they would have found something, she would have never been able to work for them. So it could hold you back from getting jobs, just to be a joke, just to make fun of somebody. So be careful. Cyberbullying may also be a violation of the Canadian Human Rights Act if he or she spreads hate or discrimination based on race, national, ethnic origin, color, religion, sex, age, sexual orientation, marital status, family status, or disability. You sometimes see kids, oh, you're so retarded. That goes right underneath it. So I brought you guys Canadian law, not American law, just to make sure that you guys, this is real here. So be careful, okay? Nodding of heads? Nodding of heads? Okay.
But it's happening all the time on Facebook and everything, and there's nothing happening.
Because they don't report it. If you report it, something will happen.
It's one of those where the government's not going to go after, but if you report the bully gets started. You have to take action, or they have to take an action against you.
Yeah, they have to take, like, let's say, for example, somebody's bullying me really badly, and my parents find out about it, they can call a lawyer, and they can put a stop real quick to that. I don't care what everybody else is doing. I'm more concerned about you guys. Just be careful, okay? Because this is real. I know some people are like, nah, who's going to talk? Oh, you would be surprised. Giving you the best way to punish a bully is to give them a criminal record. Can't work for a long time, for most of your life, I guess. Oh, has anyone experienced bullying? Most of us, right? Okay, I'm going to ask you guys, you don't have to tell me what happened, but how did you guys handle it? Did anybody talk to the bullier? Or the bullier? Bully. It's not that bad. Really, it isn't that bad. I'm kidding, go. Anybody? I know it's a sensitive topic, I appreciate though, but go ahead. Okay.
I wasn't so good at French, and the guy were just like, he was just always laughing at me and making some jokes at me. Then I stood up for him, and he just walked away and stopped doing it.
Exactly. The thing is people think that being bullied, you get scared and can't do anything. But if people around you also are fed up, you can actually start like telling him to don't bully him back, but to tell him to stop. You have more power in numbers. Is there an Egyptian, Canadian type of bullying? Do you think there's a difference? Okay, what is that?
Say it again in the mic. Because of the accent.
Well, I heard you the first time. Okay, because of the accent? Okay. So they make fun of you because of your accent?
Yeah.
You know what I was called in not high school, elementary school. There's no middle school right here. Middle school, I guess middle school. I was called chocolate because I had darker skin, right? Or I was called poop because I had darker skin. Was it a nice thing? No. But my parents, wonderful human beings, were always on top of it with me, would talk to us about it, right? They wouldn't let me just sit to it because I told my parents that this was going on. I was really embarrassed and really hurt about it, but my parents asked and I told them. So going through school, being called that, don't touch her because you're gonna smell. I mean, of course it hurts, it bothers me, it bothered me. Now it's like, okay, where are you and where am I? Actually, I don't know where they are. Anyway, okay. Can jocks or captain of a football team, hockey team, baseball team be bullied? You're saying no, right? Why not? Why not? They're the
elite.
The elites. Oh, what happened to our guy?
Yeah, I was questioning this.
Okay, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, there's the what team is it, Abby?
Well, listen here, Steve, hold on.
Look at me. What team is it?
Yeah, you guys, hockey fans here?
Okay.
Canada junior hockey team? How do you do? The Canadian junior hockey team. Is that? No, they lost.
No, but only this year, but
This year, yeah, I'm talking about this year's team.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That, right? So, you know who the captain of the Canadian junior team is?
But I
French
forgot his
Canadian.
name, I think it's called Congo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know what happened to him?
We get bullied by a lot of people because
Let go.
Because he's supposed to be the best player and he didn't perform as much as he should do.
Yeah, he had a penalty shot in the last game, and he missed the shot, right?
Yeah.
And he also did a couple of plays that people felt hurt the team.
Yeah.
And he lost in the tournament very, very early. So there was a strong cyberbullying against him.
Yeah.
There's a guy said, I hope you get AIDS. And died. Actually told him that online to his Twitter page. That's cyberbullying. Captain of the Canadian national team, and that's elite of the elite.
But like hockey is like a drug for Canadian. That's why they always want to get
But that
the gold
doesn't
medal.
give them.
Guess what? That's still that's cyberbullying.
Yeah.
That's cyber. This is an 18-year-old kid. I don't care if you're the captain of the Canadian hockey. I don't care. You're 18 years old, right? So somebody
Yeah.
wished you get AIDS and died just because you missed a shot. I don't care. I mean, I know. I grew up in Canada. I'm a big Montreal Canadiens fan. Went to a game. I'm a huge Canadian hockey fan. Come on, 18-year-old kid to say that, and it wasn't just one guy. They also attacked them for being French Canadian.
Yeah.
The French Canadians are losers that are like hockey. We can't depend on them. That was the western side of Canada. So. All cyberbullying.
Yeah.
So in other words, in other words, anybody can get bullied. Anybody. Okay? If you bully, there's going to come a time where it's going to snap back. Why does it keep going to this page?
No, that's me. I was trying to find that slide.
No worries, Meg.
I'm going back.
Okay. Is this the video?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right. Any questions about bullying? Now we're going to get into some more interesting topics, right? Because some people sat up, straightened up a little bit. It happens all the time. It's harmless, right? Don't answer. You don't have to answer me. I don't want to put anybody on the spot. Sending a cute picture, sending a duck face, right? It's harmless. It's not a big deal. This one is really, I have my clothes on. What's wrong with it? Okay, so it's a little sexy. What's wrong with that? Let's go through it. Sexting is using the internet or the mobile phone for creating, sharing, sending, or posting sexually explicit messages and images. Victims of sexting may experience serious psychological harm and ongoing damage to their reputation. Just because you send out a picture means what? It's going to be gone? How many of you guys would delete the pictures? Right? You can delete a picture. Okay, let's figure out what's going on here. This is what I hear. I actually asked my children this, and they're the ones who answered this. They are only on my Instagram, and it's private. Not everybody could see it. My DM, once they open it, it's gone. I have nothing to worry about. That's a direct comment from our Rebecca. Mom, so what? Nobody's going to see it. Apps that promise photos, videos will disappear in seconds can feel less risky, but it's still very easy to take a screenshot. Someone could take a screenshot. It's there forever on their phone, right? Yeah, it disappears. Who knows what DM is, right? We all know what DM is. Okay. Once they open, for those of you who don't know it, once they open the DM, they see the picture, the video, or whatever, and then after, what did she say, 12 hours or something? It goes away, it disappears. Nobody could find it. Nothing is ever deleted. Now, Apple, Facebook, Instagram, Google, Android, any phone that's on your bodies right now, or home, if they're run by these companies, which all of them do, come on, babe.
Oh, you didn't finish the
Keep going. It lasts literally forever. So where does it go? I deleted it from my phone. Now, how many of you guys, when you get a new phone or if it's updated, it says, agree to terms and conditions, and you go, oh, seriously? So you scroll all the way to the bottom and go, agree, and then your phone goes, congratulations, you have your new phone, right? How many of you guys read it? Let's be real, right? I don't even read it. Our son reads it. Lord have mercy. He reads everything. But this is what it says. Officially, you own any original pictures and videos you post, but we are allowed to use them, and we can let others use them as well, anywhere around the world. Other people might pay us to use them, and we will not pay you for that. It's in the contract. We pulled these out of the contract. Dang. Got real, didn't it? Beep, beep, got real. And then it says, if you continue to read, although you are responsible for the information you put on Instagram, we may keep, use, and share your personal information with companies connected with Instagram. That stuff is out there. I don't care what you deleted. They have it, and they will use it. This information includes your name, email address, school, where you live, pictures, phone number, your likes, your dislikes, where you go, who are your friends, who your friends are, how often you use Instagram, and any other personal information we find, such as your birthday or who you are chatting. They got it all. It's in the contract. Ehab and I did not make anything up. That nice long list, that's what it says. How many of you guys knew that? How many of you guys agreed? To use your phone, you have to agree. If you turned your phone on, you agreed. But you didn't read that, did you? They got some serious stuff. If you're putting pictures out there, they got them. Anybody in the world could get them. Anybody can get whatever pictures you put out there. As silly as they are, as funny as they are, as inappropriate as they are. Be careful.
Like, I knew that before using my phone, and I accepted it because, like, who's gonna use my photo to? Like, if they're gonna pay the company money for my photo, that's like I'm very good, you know. That means I'm
you're very popular, right? Okay, you're right.
So yeah, I'm just like whatever. Who's gonna use my photo? I'm just accepting.
You have no idea what people could do to pictures around the world. No idea. Again, you do not want something out there that's inappropriate. It will come back. Someone, all they need to do is be smart in technology, they will catch it. Especially depends on the job if you're applying for. If you're applying for an FBI job, right? A CIA job, one of those big important jobs. Running for prime minister. I don't know, maybe one of you will be a prime minister one day, hopefully, sure. Right? Well, you don't know. Senate, Congress, whatever, politics, any kind, right? Yeah. They will find it. Someone will find it. And if it's an embarrassing picture, they will find it faster. I know it's like, well, who's really want to take a picture of me? Why do you want to limit your potential to whatever you want to do in life? Why? Just for a fun picture? Be careful, right? That's why a lot of times when Ehab was applying, when someone came to apply for a job, they look at their Facebook. They look at their Instagram. We told our Rebecca, be careful what you put out there. And they told her, they looked at her Facebook and Instagram to see what kind of life she has. People lost their jobs putting things out there on Instagram and Facebook. You lose your job very easily. There was a nurse, I think, who in Chicago, I think it was, whatever. She put out there that she hated the black patients on Facebook to her friends, private. Nobody knows about it. She got fired. So don't limit yourselves. Reach for the stars. Be whatever you want to be. Don't be afraid that someone's going to find out something about you if you don't put it out there. Make sense? Okay. Now, anyone could take your picture, take her picture, and put a nude body on it. Prove it's not her. Prove it. Prove that she's not naked. She's not. She had her clothes on. Be careful. All information is available to everyone in seconds, literally. If I tell you something and you text her, and you text her, and you text her, and you text her, this room will probably know about it in a split second, right? Okay. Oh, now they can find him. This is our young man. Okay, next. This one, how many of you guys seen Crazy Rich Asians? Did you like the movie? Okay, it's a really cool movie, right? But this is a part on Instagram, or how the media is working.
Singapore, for spring break. Colin's wedding. We've been dating for over a year now. I think it's about time for my beautiful girlfriend. I'm Colin's best man. Don't you want to see where I grew up? Meet my family. My alma. I meet up with that strange college roommate of yours.
She has been begging me to come visit her, you know.
The universe is broken. It wants you over there. Come to Singapore. On the whole island to be completely free to choose.
How fast was that? Each one of you knows about 50 people on your, 100 people on your Facebook, Instagram? About 100, 200, 300, 400? Pretty popular people, right? You tell one person, 400 know. 400 know another 400, 400 know another 400, 400 know another 400. Your information is going to be there. Be careful, okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Again, I'm not lecturing you, I'm just giving you facts. Any questions? It got real, didn't it? Yeah, that stuff could stay up there. Okay. Now, here comes the big one. Pornography. What can I say about pornography? It is out there. You cannot escape it. I was watching a movie with our kids over the Christmas holidays. I don't remember what we were watching. Holy moly, the scenes that keep popping up. My kids are like, oh, Mom, I can't believe this is going on. And we're sitting there going, oh, I can't. It makes us all uncomfortable, right? But it's right in your face. So, now let's figure out what goes on in our brain. Whoa. What goes on in our brain when pornography is watched. Now, I'm not just not men only or guys only. It also happens with females. There's an increase in females now. It's not, it used to be men and then women. Now it's like, we're getting up there, okay? So the ventral sternum is a major portion of the basal ganglia. Again, it's all just medical things, but the basal ganglia is like right inside of, deep inside here, all right? It is part of the reward system, so it makes us feel good. When you run, how many of you guys are runners? People who play sport. Do you ever get that running high? Like when you're in the zone, it's like, you just don't want to stop? That's your basal ganglia being rewarded. Okay. When exposed to pornography, it increases to an unhealthy size, causing the individual to have difficulty monitoring their action and gaining enough satisfaction. Just hold on to that thought and I'll keep going. Now, the basal ganglia will become immune to what is watched or viewed and will need more intense images once again to fire their dopamine, your pleasure hormone. So, you start watching, good stuff. After a while, it gets, okay, enough is enough. I'm used to this amount. I need more. It becomes more. So rather than watching it once a month, now it becomes twice a month, 3 times a month. There was a young man who came to see us. He was watching it 24/7. He dropped out of school. He was in trouble. He just could not stop. They had to isolate him, or hospitalize him because of this. He just couldn't stop. Now remember I told you you're playing Russian roulette? How many of you are going to get addicted? Hopefully none. How many of you are? No idea. You're playing Russian roulette, so be careful. Okay. Problems with overstimulating the pleasure sensation with your brain? Now, the first problem is hyperstimulation. Releases all the dopamine a little at a time. It's kind of like a needle. Gives it 1 drop at a time. And you want more, and you want more, just like running. It gives you that I need to run high, right? So a little at a time until the brain begins to crave, well, that's not grave, it's supposed to be crave, sorry. Crave more. Sweetie, what are you doing? No big deal. So the repeated viewing of these images causes the brain to stay in hyper. It's like whenever your brain is on hyper, it's like pushing the gas and the brake at the same time. Your brain is spinning, so the longer it goes, after a while, it takes its toll on your brain. Now, pornography has the potential to cause long-lasting and even permanent damage and developmental problems. Remember, your brains are developing. So if you're pumping this in, or the dopamine, your brain is going to be expecting it for the rest of your life, causing someone to be 24/7 on pornography. Literally, he had to quit school because he could not stop. Now, online pornography will hyperstimulate the pleasure sensations, the centers of the brain. Parts of your brain are more strongly than the brain has ever meant to be stimulated. It's not meant to have that much dopamine in it. Not cool. That's what your brain kind of looks like. Little tiny car, big wheels. Do they go together? It's kind of weird, right? But that's what your brain is feeling. Now, high image visual pornography. High image, that means more aggressive. The more you watch pornography, the more you're going to decide to need more. And to get more, we move into the more aggressive, more violent, especially against women. So it changes who you are. It changes your views on women and on men, right? It does change your perspective. And especially when you get married, a lot of men have a really, really, really hard time with their wives and having intimacy with their wives. Only facts I'm giving you. This is not made up. I have a couple right now where he started when he was 14. Yeah, he started when he was 14. And him and her are trying to have a baby. Can't do it. You just can't. His body's not able to perform. I'm telling you this because you guys, again, Russian roulette. All right. Pornography is also readily available. Very easy. Everyone has access to it. Nobody does not have access to it. That even their tolerance sets in. Getting bored with current images is very easy to switch to something new. This is just average. Let me find something more exciting. Your brain needs more. By the way, the stimulus is never shut off. By the way, no human being will ever measure up to what you see on the videos. It doesn't work. You cannot have a normal relationship with your spouse in the future. That I can guarantee. So, if the pleasure center is overstimulated, it can fail to develop to normal size, and actually it will develop to an unusually large, causing trouble for the person to limit or recover from addiction. I think the other slide is Okay, keep going, next one. Here. The first one, that's the pleasure sensation, the yellow, of a normal brain, with somebody without pornography. Constant use, do you see how big it is? You gotta feed it. You gotta feed it. That's how big it gets, if not bigger. These are images. So you gotta be careful. Real? Real? So if it's that stimulated, everything else cannot, see how everything is proportional. God made everything proportional. Everything kind of fits together. When something is out of the ordinary, it will create problems for us. So overwatching it creates a problem for us. Okay. So here it is. Normal brain, what's the top one? Here, our control center, making the wise decision. Our drive is smaller, so we can be able to say, no, I don't think I could do that, or I don't want to do that. We have more control of it. And then our memory and how much information, ooh, this feels good, let me continue doing it, is well connected. Addiction for pornography, the want and the drive are bigger. I want it, I need to have it. I want it, I need to have it. They just go straight together. Okay? Control, do you see how tiny it is? That's why people can't stop. That's why addiction happens. And you tell people, stop. You can stop doing drugs. You can stop looking at pornography. How? Look at what's going on in their head. That's why sometimes people need to go see somebody for help to get this to go back to this. Is it permanent? It could be. It could be. I don't know. We're playing Russian roulette again. Your brains are developing. I don't know. If they start developing like this, it's going to be very difficult to switch it. Okay? Any questions?
Are they reversible addictions like alcohol, drugs, and pornography? Are they reversible, or they keep permanent damage or certain permanent?
Well, it all depends on the amount and the years they've done.
Okay.
If they've taken it for a long, long number of years, a lot of times there's memory problems. And then if they drink a lot, right, then you have something called Korsakoff syndrome. That's where their short-term memory no longer works.
And then this is permanent. That's not reversible. Yeah. And pornography are also the same effect as alcohol and drugs, or
pornography is just as big of an addiction. There's actually groups that men need to go to. I've had people go to it. They have to go regularly. They have to go 90 days. For the first 90 days, they have to go every single day. And then they have someone monitoring them. Then they have all kinds of plugs in their phones to help them stop. And they're all their lives they're going to have sex addiction. So they need to stay away from it. But are they going to function normally, like a normal man or a woman? Sometimes it's really hard. But if they stop in time, right, and they relearn everything, yes, we've seen a lot of recovery.
And one last question. The addictions, do you have research or studies? Are they gender agnostic? Like, do we have more male than female that goes into any type of those addictions? Especially pornography, like, are men more addicted than women or girls versus guys?
Well, it's generally males are more, right? Because females is not as high, but it's getting there. We have women also are getting just as addicted to pornography as males, especially young girls. A lot. It's an increasing number. It's scary. Any other questions?
I learned that also nowadays the treatments for addiction are more like, they're not like completely removing they know that the addiction, and like the person will tend to always go back to like alcohol or certain drugs. So like the treatment they use is like that they replace what was addictive with something that they will take over a long period of time. So it's not only they go into withdrawal and after they're fine, like they keep taking certain like medication over like a long period of time, or like even like during their whole life, to like compensate for like that addiction that they had.
The medication is basically just to kind of get over the nausea and the sickness.
Okay,
Any addiction has to be done through stopping.
Because I I learned that like sometimes they will combine like a certain medication with naloxone, and the person will like keep taking it.
Right, but I don't know about here, but in the US, it's like they'll give them medication to get them to not have those violent withdrawals, right? Narcos and all those. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's certain medications they give to drug addicts or alcoholics to kind of not make them feel so sick.
Yeah.
But then again, it has to be work to stop.
Yeah.
You have to have work on it. All addiction, once you're an addict and you have the name addict and you have the behavior of an addict, okay? You are an addict for the rest of your life. If you have an alcohol problem and you stop drinking, once you stop drinking, you cannot go back and have a drink anywhere next for the rest of your life. You're an alcoholic. That's what I'm saying. It's a Russian roulette. Put your phones away. Okay. Now, peer pressure. Let's see how that looks.
Take a close look at the 3 lines on the right. Which line is the same size as the one on the left? And how certain are you of your answer? Are you 50% certain? 90? 100%? Well, if you're like most people and you take time to think this through, you'd say line A. If you take a close look, line B and C are clearly too tall. So line A is the obvious choice. But this isn't a video about optical illusions. It's a video about peer pressure. What happens when you clearly know that the answer is C, but everybody else is telling you that they got the answer A? When this test is done in the control room, that is when there's no peer pressure, almost every single person gets it right. Line A is clearly too short, and line B is clearly too tall. But when you add peer pressure, things get interesting. Now, imagine that you're in a room with 9 other people. You're asked to compare the lines, same as before, and you think, that's easy, it's C. Then person 1 steps forward and announces that his answer is A. Your first response would probably be surprise. How could he have gotten it wrong? The question is so easy. In fact, you might even feel a little superior at this point because you know his answer is wrong and you are right. But as a few more people step forward and say that they got A as well, confidence in your answer begins to erode. As everyone else announces that they got A as well, you'd start wondering if you were the one that got something seriously wrong, as if everyone else saw the trick of the question and you didn't. By the time it's your turn to answer, you might even be embarrassed to say that you got C. So what do you say when it's your turn? Do you say what you believe and go with C? Or go with the group and say line A? When this is done in a laboratory, over 1/3 of people will change their answer to A. The researchers also identified different factors that made it more or less likely that a person would submit to peer pressure. People are more likely to bend to peer pressure when there's a large group of people conforming, or when an entire group is unanimous in their decision. They also found that, in general, different groups handle peer pressure better than others. The research found that women are more likely to conform than men. Eastern cultures that place high value on collectivism conform more than Western cultures. And people with low IQ or low self-esteem are more willing to ditch their answer and go with the group. But how can you resist peer pressure? Here's a few ways that proved effective in the studies. First, you can have a friend on your side. You're more likely to stick to your answer if you have someone that you trust supporting your answer. Second, you'll feel less pressure when one or more other people aren't conforming to the group. This is true even if the nonconformist is also wrong. If 8 people answer A and 1 person answers B, then you're going to be more comfortable answering C. Because, hey, at least you're not the only person not saying A. You can't be too crazy. Third, you're less susceptible to peer pressure when you can answer in private. If you're allowed to write down your answer instead of tell the group publicly, then you can publicly confess your support for A, but write down C as your real answer. Of course, groupthink and peer pressure don't just apply to decisions, they also powerfully shape our beliefs and values. which in turn influences our actions.
Any questions? Is it real? How many times have you guys actually wanted to do something and everybody convinced you to try to do something else? And you're like, oh, I don't want to go there. But everybody wants to go there. Or, my parents aren't really going to like me going there. But everybody's going there. Most of us, I hope, right? That means you've got friends, you've got a social life, right? Peer pressure is one of the biggest things. And it happens also a lot in churches. A lot of times things, you want to ask a question, you want to say something, you agree, you disagree, you want to do something, you want to express something, and a lot of times you're told, shh, it's not how we do it. That's peer pressure. Just be careful with that, okay? I think peer pressure is really a big topic, so I'm just going to cover it really quick, so we're not really, I can't go into too much because it's a topic all on its own. But there's another video, I think you guys could relate to it. Peer pressure comes in all shapes and sizes, right? I love that movies. Have you ever seen Mean Girls? Who's seen it? Isn't it the funniest? It is the funniest movie. It's like, wow, girls are so mean. My son goes, he watched it and he's like, oh my God, it's so true. Because his sisters go at it all the time. Okay. Have you noticed peer pressure from others? You've never seen peer pressure? You always do what you want? You don't go with the group? Huh? He's the only one who does it? You do your own thing? You don't do what anyone else? High five, man. That's a rare one. That's pretty cool. I like that. Stick to those guns. But you know what? I actually respect that because he knows in what direction. Now, as long as you're going in the right direction, I'm not doing stuff all on your own over there. I don't know. Okay. Good for you. Stick to it. What was it like for you? How was it like? What's his name? Paul? Paula? Bola. Bola. The B and the P in Arabic. Bola. Paul. I'm sorry? Yes, it's a hand. Exactly, the hand. Paul? Okay, how was that for you? When you say, no, I don't want to, and everybody's like, come on, man.
At first it's hard, like I feel that they're gonna be mad at me, but then if I don't wanna do it, I'm not gonna do it, and after like some time, they're gonna forget and everything, so.
So if everybody's going somewhere and they're asking you to join them and you're like, no thank you, do they give you pressure?
They do,
okay.
But I don't follow them.
What was in your head? Could you share that?
And like, they're gonna be mad at me, but at the same time, I have something like more important, or I don't feel like doing it. So I'm just gonna apologize in a good way to them. And that's it. Like, my way is good for my friends, and they understand me. So it goes.
Stick to it. Don't figgle on that one. I think you had your hand up.
I just wanted to know, is the peer pressure effect getting, like, it's not as high as before, since we're in the 21st century? Because that's what I'm starting to notice, and I really notice it. Okay, no offense, guys, for those who hold an Apple phone, but I notice it from the Apple stock market. People are starting to buy some other phones and not getting to the rich kind of people hype. So they stop buying Apple phones because they don't think it's going to make them rich or something like that.
So they go to another phone because everybody's going to that phone?
No, it's not like this. I mean, because all people tend to go to the Apple company because they feel that they're rich and everyone's buying.
How expensive are your Apple phones?
Yeah.
They're expensive here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Come to the US, it's cheaper.
So that's why everyone buys an Apple phone, and that's actually the hype going right now, and it's starting to decrease.
But having a phone, how having a phone, an iPad or a computer, you're still following the pressures of having it.
If you have an Apple phone, you're following the
or an Android.
Exactly.
Or a Google.
But the Apple stock is going down, so people are starting to become more conscious.
That's more money thing. But if you're asking if it's still the same pressure, it is. It's not. It's more actually because it's more. Because on the phone, people could pressure you without really pressuring you. So they could put you in a group text, and everybody can say how wonderful everything is, and they kind of just leave you out of it. So the pressure comes in a different way. Okay, it's like right not in your face anymore. Because of the technology, it goes underhanded, without you really noticing it.
So it's increasing.
Right, so let's say Apple Watches are so expensive, the television commercials are telling you, go get an Android, it's so much cheaper.
Exactly.
They're pressuring you to get what they're selling. How much are your Apple phones here anyway?
1,000 and up.
That's pretty expensive. Oh, is it? Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
I just wanted to say that real friends have to accept the way we are. If they don't accept us, they're not real friends.
Exactly. And even if you have one friend, consider yourself a lucky person. 2 friends, I mean friends, not fake ones, but 2 friends, consider yourself blessed. Okay? Because having friends is sometimes very rare. And that's why people sometimes get very lonely and they'll take anybody and everybody, causing a lot of trouble for them.
Because
but you're right.
I mean, we don't have to be someone in a place and someone else in another place.
Right, exactly, exactly. They have to be your friend and have to love you for who you are.
Yeah.
Good point. Anybody else? How did you handle it? We talked about that. What advice would you give others? We talked about that. Man, you guys are like boom, boom here. All right. Teen dating. Guard your heart above all else. Guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Dating. I'm not going to ask you to put your hands up, because some people are like, oh, you're going to throw my hand up. Nope. Dating is how many of you guys are going to stay for the singles talk? The singles talk. I'm having another talk for people who are looking for a mate, singles. Oh, you're all staying? You're going to hear me the whole time? Oh my gosh, you poor things. Eek. Okay. Oh, okay. Huh? Okay. I thought I had to. Okay. Oh, I don't know what to say. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about it for the older couples or the older individuals, because dating is playing a big role. But now, when you need to ask yourself at your age, if you are dating something, are you the company you keep? You are the company you keep. Do not mislead. Bad company corrupts good character. He's the hottest thing in school, and he asked me out. Right? She's the cutest girl in the school, and she wants to go out with me. Are you cold, honey? Oh. You got to be careful, because sometimes dating gets into a place you cannot get out of. That's where reputation comes in. That's where that person might not have what you want in your heart. At this age, at 17, 16, 17, it's dangerous. Be careful, right? You could date with your parents' permission. I would never recommend you dating without your parents knowing about it. Talk to them. If they're typical Egyptian parents, their head is going to blow off. We all know that, right? Dating, what? Go. Is this the person bringing out the best in me, or am I losing myself to them? You need to always ask yourself that question. Again, it's in the next session, next topic, I'm going to go much deeper into it. Thank you.
Okay, what you present here is regardless of the culture, right?
Regardless of?
Of the culture.
Of the culture, yeah.
Like in our heads always we think because we have Egyptian parents and Egyptian culture and we're like, should we multiply by a handicap factor, like multiply by 20 because we're worse? Or,
well, no, I'm talking about all
cultures.
It's without. But the thing is, the reason a lot of parents Egyptian parents freak out over dating, why do you think they freak out? Why do your parents like literally almost have a heart attack when you tell them you want to date somebody? I'm talking from experience, both of us. Why do you think parents freak out? Don't hold anything back. Qillat adab, okay. They have bad image of dating. You're going to probably slip up and it's going to be a disaster. Anything else? Come on, keep going. What is it that your parents say? Something new for them. Something they didn't do. And all they hear in America or Canada, right, that all this is horrible things are happening in dating. And everybody's doing all kinds of negative things and they're getting all kinds of trouble. Be careful because that's how they're thinking. If you go totally against them without explaining what's going on and talking through it with them, they're going to just bear down and say, forget it. And then it's not going to be good because you're going to lose their trust by going behind their back. Okay? Dating, like I said, we're going to get much into it as to why it's a good thing, but it's bad if you go against your parents and go behind their backs. Then it's not going to work. It's going to be a miserable time for you. Does that make sense?
Okay, so at this age, having a good, strong support system is crucial. But often, keeping our Egyptian culture in mind, our parents can be either like closed-minded or because it's all new to them, a lot of these topics are taboo and they'll never actually approach, teens. Like, I don't know how many Egyptian parents have the sex talk with their kids, you know what I'm saying? So what can they do to kind of bring up these topics with their parents who aren't from themselves initiating these conversations? I'm not speaking for, I'm good. It's
we don't know who your parents are. 2 parents yesterday. No, I don't know who your parents are, but I'm saying, again, it's almost like an education, right? If you're kind of teaching your parents what this culture is, and you're doing the dance between 2 cultures right now, all of you, right? That's what we did. We were stuck between the Egyptian culture and the Canadian culture growing up. It was hard. It's very, very hard. Let's be real here, right? So you have to be able to introduce your parents to the culture in a way that's not going to freak them out. Honesty, openness, constant communication. That's the way they're going to be able to feel good what you're doing. If you lie to them, you can kiss freedom goodbye. If they say no, that's okay. We're not going to lose it. We're going to ask. We're going to talk to them. We're going to show them. We're going to be available to them to see that who we are is who we are, and we're not hiding. Guys, no phones. I will confiscate your phone. The reason I'm saying no phones is it's a distraction. I need you guys to be present. Okay? Hopefully this is helping. Especially the next one is big and it's long. So I need you guys to be focused. We're good? Any questions? Can we give them a break? I don't think you guys want to hear me again for a little bit. No. Sure. What time is it? 2? Okay. Yeah, if we could come up really quick, because it's a big topic. I'm going to cover it because it's supposed to be for people looking how to find a mate. So it has a lot to cover, and we have to be out of here. What time do you guys have to be out of here?
We're here, I think we have to leave at 4, right?
4 or 5? 4. Okay, we'll try to, I'll aim it for 4. If we go a little bit over, we'll be okay. So go ahead and get your coffee, tea, whatever it is that you guys want, but come right back quickly, okay?